And welcome to Imperial Advisor episode 53. 53. There we go. More than 2 years now? More than 2 years now, right? Basically, yeah. Crazy.
It's pretty
Crazy.
pretty scary.
Crazy. So, we've just had a plethora of spoilers revealed on the FFG live stream about the inheritance cycle, including a bunch of accessory information on it that we're going to kind of talk through a little bit and react to now. There was some interesting stuff on there. It's nice to actually get some info after there being, some, well, we'll say, not quite radio silence, but, less information. And so it was Tyler with FFG's Matt Holland on talking to us about what was coming up. Broad themes of the inheritance cycle are apparently that it is about bushies and courtiers, it is about uniqueness among characters, and there's sub themes of having cards that are only good in a military conflict or only good in a political conflict. And the uniqueness is why they put disguise in, so you can replace these non-unique characters with more distinctive, unique characters. With a pretty specific, pretty powerful mechanical boost, just because you get to unbow them and you get a discount and bring the guy into play. We also got some bad news. The release cycle is not as aggressive as I think most players would want. We've got for Gen Con, packs 1 and 2 are likely to be legal. Nothing else, not the Lion Clan pack either. For Worlds, it's likely to be packs 1, 2, 3, and 4, plus the Lion Clan pack, and we might have pack 5. But it's likely the pack 6 and the Crab pack, which is as yet unannounced, will be later in the year, end of the year country. Which probably means the Dragon pack is in the mists of mystery. Guys, any thoughts? Baz, we'll open with yourself. Do you feel betrayed?
No, no. Like we kind of knew ahead of time what was happening with the Dragon Pack. That's no shock, and we're at least getting a new Stronghold, and the cards we've seen so far are kind of shiny and fun. So we'll see. Yeah, no, I think we're happy enough with where things are going. I don't. That wasn't Matt that we were seeing on the stream. That was Evan Johnson. Now Matt Holland has been pretty amazing with communications as well, so he's definitely worth noting. But yeah, it was Evan who's been. I think he's been heading up the FFG live streams, and that was him with Tyler today. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, the communications that they've done, we've often complained about the lack of communication we get from FFG, and I think over the last few weeks they've been really good. So obviously getting the stream in from Tyler, where he actually gives us a bit of an idea of what's happening, why he's doing things, and where the kind of design approaches are coming from. That's really cool. And Matt Holland on Facebook and on the community website has been doing a really good job. Obviously they had a stream the week before we were talking about Worlds, and that's all good stuff. So we're in a good place.
Justin, any thoughts?
I just feel a bit sad for our Lion brothers and sisters who have had the carrot of hope dangled in front of them, only once again to have it snatched away with another slap in the face. So, yeah, it's very disappointing for the Lion. As I said, I think that their players, well, the Lion Clan and their players have been going through quite a rough time over the last few months, and to receive more bad news with regards to Gen Con has got to hurt. So sympathies to them. But yeah, beyond that, it is what it is. And it seems like, it's the communication, as Baz said, is improving. That's definitely a positive. And at least Lion will hopefully be in a better position when it comes to Worlds, which is probably more of a concern this year. So
yeah. Shout out to loyal listener Tim Wells, who is in the depths of mourning at the moment because he was hoping Lion were going to get a bunch of tools going into Gen Con and have a chance to compete. As is, I think life will be hard for them. So yeah, sorry Tim. I wish things were looking up. Take a look on some other stuff there. They've said that the first pack is mostly about Bushi. So they have the Hantai, it's not
Satori.
Satori on the cover of that one, and lots of Bushi stuff. And the
Yeah.
second pack is cleverly all of the Element Lock cards. So once pack 2 comes out, we will know what all the Element Lock cards of the cycle are. So when people are voting, coming out of the Elemental Championships on what role they want their clan to have next, they'll at least know the full range of cards. They won't be ready for pack 6 to see if there's some fire roll or earth roll card that actually might make somebody want to take them. So that's pretty great. We also have the third pack is about the Crane Civil War. So Satori and Kwannon taking each their on. It's based on the world story choice, which is actually, they made the point that story choices are going to take 6 to 18 months to pay out. So you'll see stuff that affects them later when they have time to actually work it into the story. So yeah, interesting stuff. Any thoughts on? I think that elemental pack being the second pack is pretty savvy, and I'm glad they did that when they did that. Any thoughts on that, Justin?
No, just just well done to FFG. It's a very forward-thinking idea, very honest, very direct for the players. Kind of removes. I mean, obviously, there were issues before with playtesters having access to cards, and kind of there were whispers in ears and nudges and under the table discussions about what clans should pick, and that. Well, I suppose ultimately it's for the benefit of the clan. It doesn't feel great for the majority of people who play that clan or who support that clan. So democratizing the decision in any way is a good thing. So yeah, absolutely, 2 thumbs up. Well done to FFG for this.
All right, I think we're all happy with that one. Any thoughts, Baz? Are you good to go?
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing, and it's good to see they're thinking about these things. I'm not sure it was really under the table. I heard, people were very blatant about sharing around all of the spoilers of all the cards. Like entire PDFs were being shared with some of the top clans players at Worlds when they were about to make the decisions. So, and actually, we've seen another rush of spoilers go around again, and I've certainly heard people say that cards were being spoiled, so extra cards had to be spoiled to make sure that the spoiling was fair for picks of clan rolls and stuff like that. So that's
well, I suppose that's putting people in a position where, in order to try and maintain a competitive edge or competitive balance, people are maybe not forced, but they feel compelled to breach their NDAs. So it's maybe a good thing that temptations like that are removed, which helps just maintain the integrity of the design process a bit better. So yeah, all in all, I don't think there's any downside to FFG doing this, and I hope we continue to see it in the future.
Absolutely. All right, let's start talking about card spoilers. First up, conflict between kin. 5 province strength, void province, Crane clan only. During conflicts of this province, each participating character your opponent controls cannot be chosen as the target of an event card and cannot have an attachment played on it if that card shares a clan affiliation with that character. Now, Tyler said, this is a card I've designed, and I don't know what it does yet. And I immediately, little alarm bells start ringing for me. I'm like, you're the designer. I mean, you should know. But this is part of how he thinks the Void should be. It's funky, it's quirky, it does things that he's not sure what they're going to do in the environment, but the players are going to figure something out. I look at this and I see this is probably meant to go in your Stronghold province and just make it very difficult for your opponents to take it. I think. For some clans, this is rough. For other clans, this is doesn't stop bonsai, doesn't stop court games. Some cards work just fine. Doesn't affect some events that don't target. Your guys. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure it's
roll that back slightly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where the comment is.
Yeah.
So each participating character your opponent controls cannot be chosen as a target of an event. Is that a section? And cannot have an attachment played on it if the card shares a clan affiliation with the character. So does that clan affiliation?
No,
is it just for attachments? I know, but is it
No, it's event attachments.
so? It does that like is it the clan affiliation section only applies to the attachment part,
John,
or does it
No,
apply
no,
to
John
both?
has spoken.
Or
John has
to
spoken.
both.
John has spoken. It's all one piece.
okay,
Shout out to
wait.
John in the chat.
So he's saying
Yeah,
that
thank God
it's
you're
both
here,
of them.
John.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of makes this card terrible, then, doesn't it?
What do you mean both? Like your opponent can't play. Like if I'm a crab character, I can't weigh the crab in the conflict, and I can't play Watch Commander in the conflict.
Yeah.
No. You can play. Actually, no, you couldn't weigh the crab, could you? Because it would target your guy. Yeah, no Watch Commander. Phoenix players couldn't play Storm on a Phoenix character. What it does is it means that your decks, if this is a significant card that if this starts to pop up in a lot of Crane decks, you're going to have to make sure that you have unaligned characters in your in reasonable, if not significant numbers in your Dynasty and Conflict deck in order to make full use of your Conflict deck if your Conflict deck relies on single target abilities like Supernatural Storm or Way of the Crab or things like that.
Yeah, I just think like we'll have to sit down and work out what cards this actually affects, like what decks have these cards and how much of an impact it's going to make. And I think when you have to sit down and make those kind of analysis, it's probably not a great card.
I think this might catch you out once or twice, and then you'd be like, okay, if I'm attacking a Crane, I haven't seen a Void Province, so for some reason he's not playing Shameful, or he's not Shameful Encouragement. Sorry, he's not playing Shameful Display.
Yeah, Shameful Display. Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, okay, he's got this, so I'm going to play out my attachments before I go into the conflict, because that's I think what it's more likely to affect in some ways. Good clan attachments. So then you're going to go into the conflict, and you're not going to have a bunch of cool stuff to basically win with, So yeah,
I guess I mean I guess as a stronghold province, it's got 5 province strength, which is healthy.
Yep.
It might stop 1 or 2 effects. So yeah, I mean maybe if it just stopped a total of +5 in whatever it was, it's basically one of the 2 conflict type big provinces. So it's either an entrenched or a ancestral lands. Yeah, okay. I guess it has plays. Like it's not really amazing, but yeah, I guess if you kind of sit down and work out what the options are, it may have a place.
If you've got 4 other provinces you really dig on your row, I think it's good. And you're like, I don't want Shameful Display on my row. I want something else. If you're in that situation, I could see this being kind of a fortress province for you. I'm not sure that's true, but I kind of see it. If you had 4 choices that you preferred over Shameful Display, but I'm not sure that's ever going to be true. All right. We also heard from Tyler a little bit about Pack 4. Pack 4 is the courtier pack. It's got Daisetsu. So it's going to have a lot more courtier stuff in it. And the 5th pack is the Katsuki pack. It's the Dragon Stronghold. This is about the foresight of Togashi Yakuni. How his decisions are paying off now. And he said that the Katsuki Stronghold, which I am skeptical about, I'll put it mildly, because I think this first Dragon Stronghold is just a very simple, powerful stronghold. Right, it's just a very simple, powerful stronghold that's like point and click. I'm playing attachments, grand, I give my guy a buff. This one is a lot more twitchy. You jump through a bunch of hoops. I think you might be able to make a payoff. You mightn't be able to make a payoff. We'll have to see. They do have this kind of... He started to preview as well a couple of little subtle combos that go on with it. So let's take a look over the Dragon Topaz Champion. Now what I did like was that they're bringing in stuff from the RPG. So people who play the RPG who then can look at this and go, oh wow, that's that character we encountered playing the RPG. Awesome, maybe I'll try this card game. That's good cross-promotional stuff. It's good Easter eggs for super fans who play both. It's just nice stuff. This is Katsuki.
Yeah, and actually, I haven't had a chance to run the beginner intro one for my players, so I'm hoping I'll be able to pull out this card and I'll go, you meet this person, and actually have it there. So that's something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Unit character Yusuke Yorkimi, 3 cost, 3/3, so good balanced stats. 1 glory, Bushi champion. Reaction: after you gain fate from a ring during a conflict in which this character is participating, this character cannot be chosen as the target of your opponent's triggered abilities until the end of the conflict. And I think Tyler said that works with declaring a conflict if there's a fate in the ring.
Yeah,
So that's pretty strong, because you can just go, well, Yurumi goes, I'm going to go fire in your province. I'll take fate off. I'll react with Yurumi. You cannot target her with triggered abilities. That seems pretty good to me.
and triggered abilities are events and characters and most things. Anything where you've got a decision where you need to activate it or not, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's the kind of tower that you have always protected every time you're attacking. Obviously not when you're defending, unless you get another way to get some ring off or some fate off the ring. But yeah, being able to attack with a towered up immune character is pretty awesome. I like that character a lot.
Justin, any thoughts on negative play experiences and blanket denial?
Yeah, you read my name.
I think
well, am I so predictable?
I think it's so funny, because literally the design for the Kitsuki Stronghold, he started going into a very modern game design thing of like, it's bad to have blanket immunities or you just can't play that card. I'm going to make it more interesting. You can play the card, but there's a small penalty. And I said, good man, good man. What's the next preview? Oh, something with blanket immunity. Hey! I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's unwarranted. I just found it funny.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's just triggered abilities. It's not everything. You can put attachments on her, I guess.
You can destroy her attachments.
And you could destroy her attachments. Yeah, yeah. It's and I mean, like, it's not guaranteed to be on all the time. If you're like, yeah, like Baz said, I mean, if the ring that you desperately want to contest doesn't have fate on it, which it very well may not, then her ability doesn't go off, and you need to, you need to then have a whole bunch of other shenanigans going on in order to make her work. But that said, my heart does sink a little when we see another character with a cannot be targeted clause on it, or another card that just says character cannot be targeted. But that said, there are some opportunity costs to how she plays out, and there are opportunity costs to including her in a deck over different characters. So I'm not prepared at this stage to, go full grump on this. So yeah, I mean, she's obviously just very, very good. So we'll just have to see if she makes it into top tier competitive play.
Absolutely. It is being raised in the chat by John that we've seen similar cards like the Zokujin already, and they're not too crazy. That's true, but Dragon do tower up a lot more than Scorpion do. And if you have some crazy 5-card attachment combo on Dragon, I can just kill the attachment still, so you've at least got that going for you. But yeah, I think she's pretty strong. I think she will see play. She's a really good attacker. She's a really good poke attacker. Because if you're going in and you're like, okay, I don't want to run into Shameful, you're good, Yukumi. Turn 2, we can go grab that fate and or the thing. Away we go.
So I do think that. So some of the things you'd said already on about the Shirokatsuki, and actually, I did find it amusing that Tyler, mentioned that there was an example of one game he played where the stronghold was actually relevant, and his opponent decided not to play a card that he had correctly named, which kind of sums up all of my concerns all at once about the stronghold. But I think if this is the approach that they're going, like Tyler essentially acknowledged that claiming a ring, there are some benefits, but it's not a big one. That it looks like there's going to be a lot of support cards for Shirokatsuki, like Yukimi, that will make it more costly anytime you do get to trigger Shirokatsuki. So obviously in this case, a lot of the time you're going to attack, and you're going to claim that fate, and you're going to be fine. But if you're defending, with Shurikatsuki, you name the right card. As soon as they play that card, then all of a sudden, Yukimi becomes immune to it, which I'll actually have to look at timing to see how that happens. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so if you just have all these small effects, it might be a way to make Shurikatsuki a little bit more effective, such that your opponent, you essentially invest all of these cards, buy all of these things that will do things once you claim rings, and then your opponent will be like, okay, that looks bad. I'm not going to play the card. There you go. Have fun.
All right, some other stuff Tyler mentioned during the thing was that Pack 6 is a big, major storyline beach. There's no stories in the packs because they wanted to put the fictions up on the website so they were more accessible, I guess, so RPG players or whatever could read them as well. And the current story of the packs are going to take place over a single 24-hour period. It is 6 perspectives on one major world-shaking event. And that's what it's going to be about. If I had to guess, he said it was the worst 24 hours in the Imperial capital, starting with the death of the Emperor. They're going to see how everyone reacts to it before, during, and after. Perspectives in the Lion, Crane, the Suns, hints why the Dragon Army's been marched across Rokugan. Follow up to the first fiction scene, feature Kachiko setting the stage, everything going after this. It's a big turning point for Rokugan. I have to assume it's the coup. I have to assume it showed you taking power. Just to the way everything's set up. Or it's not, and it's a swerve. Or it's just, well, it's not. I'm not sure it's going to be the same. It's going to be one where some people, the Scorpion, the supporters, will go, no, this is legitimate, and other people said this is incredibly dubious. I think the Scorpion are running a scam, where the clan coup, from some perspectives, from some information, is a coup, and from other perspectives, is in fact a legitimate following on for the Emperor's wishes. And I think that's a lot.
Will we see an Emperor Shoju card?
I don't know if they'd go that far. But I think they might print something significant, yeah, you could have Regent Shoju, you could have show some sort of event like seizing power or something like that, or the importance of stability or something like that. Some Shoju like, no, I have to keep it. I have to take control of it until Daisetsu is ready. And I think there might be something bad happens to Daisetsu, because if I was Satori, something bad should happen to Daisetsu. And it's got to be Satori. It's got to be Satori's counterplay. It's got to be him going, I need to do something. And you might have a bit of inter-Scorpion rivalry where Shoju's like, well, I want to do Daisetsu, and Kachiko's like, ooh, I kind of already set up Satori because he's a patsy to us. I don't know. It's a very potentially exciting time because the stage has been set now for a while, and we're starting to rumble into the real heavy storyline territory, and that's great. That's really cool.
We've done the intro. We've done the superhero background. We now know what Rokugan is about and who all the people are. We can start kicking into the serious action.
The amuse-bouche have been consumed. It is time to move on. Justin, any thoughts?
Yeah, just to say, I think that's more than likely what it's going to be. I mean, it's very interestingly set up. Like you said, we have 2 factions within the Scorpion. We have Shoju, who's been shown to be a man of absolute honor, who has been told that he will be he'll be regent until Daisetsu is ready to reign. That Satori can't be the emperor. We also have Kachiko, who's essentially engineered a position where Satori will be the emperor and will be in the pocket of the Scorpion clan, effectively, because she has moral and legal blackmail over him because he murdered his own father. We have Toturi in a position where he is fully aware of the emperor's wishes. So it's going to be a situation where Shoju is going to be painfully tested. On all fronts, practical, ethical, moral. And it's just going to be fascinating to see which direction he finally chooses to go, whether he sacrifices everything for the empire, for the good of the empire, for the emperor and his friend, whether he chooses his clan over everything else. And if he does choose his clan over everything else, does that then put him in direct conflict with Toturi, who is the Emerald Champion? It's a nice little powder keg that they've got going, and I really can't wait to see what happens.
You know what's cool? They could come out of the clan coup with either Satori or Daisetsu as emperor,
Yeah,
and
both
they
make legitimate sense.
and either one also make legitimate sense for Fulane getting a hold of them if they're doing the Day of Thunder.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
they're
you could go either way. Hell, you could go either way on Kichiko or Shoju getting out of the clan coup alive. Like, I think one of them gets out alive. And I think you could go either way. You could really go, guys, if you want Kachiko to be around, you want that story with Hattori to continue, you've got to support Satori. If, on the other hand, you want Daisetsu on the throne and Shoujo alive, you got to go with Shoujo. And I think that would,
that
like, all of the things in the air, you know?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
That's why it's good! That's why it's good!
Yeah.
It gets people going!
I don't like that because it's a bit of a screw job to the Scorpion. It's like everyone else gets to pick which Scorpion character gets to die. Actually, like, the player involvement is going to be an interesting one of this. Like, one of the other things that they were talking about was the cycle it takes for those story events to cycle through. So we're beginning to see the start of the Crane Civil War, which is an impact from the original choice over whether to choose, what was it, justice or revenge or something like that. I can't remember. The first shogun got to make a decision, and now we're beginning to see more consequences. Yeah. This world's one of the decisions is over whether their clan supports Daisetsu or Satori. Is that something that is going to be able? It's not going to kick in really for at least 6 months to actually get it through. So
that decision is only super interesting if you have to choose before you know who wins the coup or who ends up on the throne. That decision is not interesting if you know who's on the throne, or is much less interesting. It's much more interesting if you actually push your chips into the middle of the table and say this is who we're going for, because that way you can be horrifically disappointed, and worse than disappointed, when your side loses, and then you can fret about the consequences. Yeah. So, but this is awesome. Like, I mean, the scope for interaction and player involvement and just general anxiety actually is really starting to grow, and that is always a plus.
Alrighty, on to a new name. This is a Crane card. This is one of the Elementally lock cards. This is void roll only, 0 cost attachment, +1/+1. Attached character gains the Bushi and Courtier traits. This features Doji Ren from the Learn to Play adventure, becoming, I assume, a Bushi, while she's also a Courtier, which is technically possible. There was a question of the stream, could you be a Bushi and a Shigenja? And it is frowned upon in Rakugan to attempt to follow 2 of the 3 major arts, which were swordsmithing, Shigenja-ing, and what was Samurai or Bushi-ing. And only generally Dragon Clan champs get to be Samurai and Shigenja. But this lets you be Bushi and Courtier. And again, Tyler said this is a card he doesn't know what it's for. But, people might get some value out of it. So yeah. Any thoughts? Any combos occur to you, Baz? You dragon love a nested stack of attachments.
Well, we're going to get onto a small combo later, because obviously the Just Cards approach is interested in courtier cards, and you probably wanted to put it on one of your Boshi. But yeah, it's certainly interesting that you can go for all of the traits. You can go for Shigenja, Bushi, and Courtier, or Monk, Bushi, and Courtier. Yeah, I guess this is a facilitator. It would certainly actually, and the fact that it's a 0 cost +1/+1 is pretty amazing. You could stack them. Yeah, this would be good for like nice big towers. But Tyler's reasoning was certainly interesting. The way he was talking about how it doesn't really do anything by itself, which kind of justifies being part of a void role, which is interesting.
Alrighty. Now he also mentioned that the disguise keyword, there's one per clan, and there is one special case, which we think might be Shishiro Miyako, who has already been previewed. So this is a disguised non-Scorpion character. This character only played by the disguise keyword. Reaction after this character, after you play this character, choosing the omni character and opponent controls does not have that character. 3 costs, 3/2. So that is we think is the special case because it's a Scorpion disguise character that works best in non-Scorpion decks.
It would be pretty harsh for the Scorpion to not get a real disguised character if that was the case. So yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but you just need keeper initiates. If you're playing Scorpion, keeper initiates should hopefully get her to play pretty regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Then we had I think the most exciting card that we saw there, which is Forebear's Echoes. 2-cost event, spell air roll only. Action. During a military conflict, choose a character in your Dynasty discard pile, put that character in play in the conflict. If that character is still in play at the end of the conflict, put it on the bottom of your Dynasty deck. 1 influence. So I can call upon the spirits of my rhino ancestors to return a rhino to me in my time of greatest need. I'm all about that. Justin, any combos occur to you?
Oh, well, I mean, the obvious one is Fashicho, everybody's favorite value bird. And this just makes Fashicho even more ludicrous. So, previous to this, you were charging Fashicho out, smashing a province, and then using Fashicho to resurrect like a Tadaka or a Kade or something like this. And now you can do that again by getting Fashicho into play via another event to once again resurrect another 5-cost Shigenja after smashing another province. And this is a spell and can be recycled through Kyudnisawa. And yeah, it must be, as I said, quite painful for the Lion players to watch their best cards just be far better for a different clan. For 1 influence, like this card is legitimately bananas, and Phoenix have an air roll at the moment. So Phoenix will be more than happy to rock this with Fashicho. But that's awesome because it means that Phoenix might, I mean, like I think that archetype is already pretty good, but this is the card that could genuinely put it over the top into being equally as good, if not better, than the standard Tadaka build. So very excited from that point of view. But at the same time, it'll be super awesome for Lion players to be able to put Toturi into play again from their bin, I guess. So I don't know. Like it's a good card for Lion. It's just it happens to be better for Phoenix.
I was looking at this one, and my immediate thought was, "Wow, that's really very good." And it's another great air roll card. I mean, Air has really been embarrassed by kind of what cards it's gotten in terms of support among different clans. So this has got to be, if anyone doesn't have an air roll at the moment, there's got to be a big push towards, going for an air roll, putting an air roll into your clan, because it's like you look at just the options you have in Dishonor in terms of now kind of conquest decks, it's just huge. I'm really hoping some of the other elemental cards are as strong to back that up. We've seen the is it Earth Becomes Sky, the Earth Bow effect one, which is really good. So at least there's something, and the waters fight on. But you want to see a couple of those. These are premier tier abilities, and I can see why he's restricting this. He doesn't want this available to everybody. But
it
good.
is notable that the rolled lock or the elemental lock cards seem to be selected based on whatever the clan is currently playing. So this is airlocked. Lion just picked up Secret of Air. We just passed by a Crane card that's void locked, and Crane just picked up Secret Void. So I'm wondering if they see what the most recent one is and factor that in. Could that be like, should we just be going void, 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 void all the way through, so they just keep printing void cards for a clan?
They've got a 6 to 18 month lead time on stuff getting printed. I'd say it's probably just a coincidence.
They just got lucky.
Yeah, I think so.
Potentially, but like at the same time, I think this is, you know, I haven't had a lot of great things to say about the role locking system for a while. But if the standard of role locked cards is going to be like this, then I think that's a huge plus in favor of the role locking system, because your elementally locked cards can and will have a huge impact on the style of deck you play and the range of options you have. And that's probably the strongest argument ultimately for the role locked system, is that it introduces an entirely new kind of environment every time the role locking changes. And we hadn't seen that up till now maybe. There were a few kind of individuals, kind of slightly busted cards like Feast or Famine and things like that. But I think as the range of cards matures and increases, I think the role locking system, yeah, could actually be a genuinely interesting and positive addition. So yeah, I'm prepared. Yeah, change. Yeah, exactly.
Less specialized defenses, please.
Yeah, fewer of those, please. More cards like this, which make you look forward to picking a role, or even make picking a role a really hard choice. So thumbs up.
All right. We've got here the Justicar's Approach, which is a 1 cost, +1 military, +0 politics, Dragon Clan attachment. It is a technique, attaches to a courtier character, so flashback to a new name immediately. Attached character gains action. During a conflict, initiate a military duel, resolve the duel, dishonor the duel's loser. If that character is already dishonored, bow it. If it is already bowed and dishonored, discard it to influence. So it's some dueling for courtiers. It seems like a weaker duelist's training to me, but it does have a stat pump, and it does have potentially more effects. Baz, any thoughts?
It's certainly interesting. It keys in with a lot of good things. So obviously, if you're attaching it to a courtier, your first card you're going to think of is For Shame, and it works really well with For Shame because it is essentially just another For Shame with an extra kicker at the end. As Tyler was saying, it is military, so it does encourage a bit of a balance out. But the dragon courtiers we've seen so far, they like, you're seeing 2/4s. I think we did see 3/4 with Jusai. There's a couple of decent numbers in there, and boosting up that military stat isn't a big deal. Sometimes it's just a bonsai, which is absolutely fine. It works well with Hitomi, even though she's not a courtier. She does dishonor people, and she does bow people. It is splashable. It is something the Crane will probably be interested in. We know that they've got a kill duel coming up that dishonors or murders dishonored people, essentially. So yeah, there's a lot of nice interactions there. It is certainly very, very cool thematic way. For anyone who's played the game, the Kitsuki are fantastic for searching through the evidence and working out exactly who did it based on the actual facts, and then having to struggle through Rokugani justice, which is based on testimony and completely ignores blood splatter analysis or anything like that. Eventually, presumably the Kitsuki just get pissed off by this and break out the justice cards and murder people. As long as you're murdering the right people, the dishonored and the bad characters, that's fine. It's a great card. I'm quite sure some Dragon players will be pushing for the Void roll so they can combo it and get some of those Bushi duelists courtiers as well, so they can drop this too. Notably, the attached character gains the trait, which means you can wave the Dragonet, which is awesome. So you can double up that, or you can stack a bundle of them. It's super cool. I'm expecting a lot of decks to kind of focus on this one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, and now we're on to the interesting part of the unit for me. Hey, it's a crab card. Student of Anatomies, 2 cost, 1 military, 2 politics, 0 glory. Always like to see that. Shigenja Earth, action. Sacrifice a friendly character. Choose a character until the end of the phase. Treat that character as if its printed text box were blank, except for traits. So it is one turn of Cloud the Mind on a stick. So good points here. Cheap Shigenja. Crab have not had a 2-cost Shigenja, so awesome. A 2-cost Shigenja fits very well into most of our decks. Importantly, this is part of our new sacrifice. No, the sacrifice team has been around from the start. This is more fuel to the sacrifice team. It's the second Shigenja who sacrifices a friendly character to do something to go along with the Witch Hunter. I'm a big fan of this guy. He is sacrificed on a stick for an effect, which is great because we need more good sack effects. Cloud the Mind's very powerful effect. It's very powerful often because it sticks around for multiple turns, but this is effectively, it can be free. It's not always free, but it can be free. Now, I played around with a broker deck for a while, and the sequencing can be awkward. You'd love to basically be, okay, I attack with somebody or defend with somebody. Now I want to use Student of Anatomy, so I do a token block and make it hard to take the province. I defend a bit. I make them spend some more resources, and now I use Student Anatomies and the guy that's left over, and that's perfectly legitimate. You want to get the most value. There are times you're going to trigger this immediately and sack a guy right then and there. So, but it's a choice. And I think it will have value for stuff like, okay, I'm going to use some attachments, for example, give the character an ability. So, that won't work on this because it's printed text box. Yes. So it's mostly for blanking guys of key text, just like Cloud. It's not as long lasting as Cloud Mind, but it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, I'm a fan. And you can sack him to do his own effect, which is good.
And one of the big things with Cloud, which is metagame defining, as many people were trying to clamp Cloud in as they could, a let go deals with a Cloud. I've had numerous games where a Cloud of Mind hits one of my characters, and I leave it there because I don't need to worry about it until I do, and then I can let go and get on with it. But this Student of Enemies just shuts down that one character for the rest of the turn.
Absolutely,
rest of the phase, not the turn.
But I honestly think you'll play this and Cloud the Mind the deck because and just use it to completely blank interesting characters text box and get the fights just resolved on who's got the higher stats.
He's a problem solver.
He is genuinely good character. Good to see ways to trigger, because there's a bunch of people like the broker, like the berserkers, who you want to have ways, useful things to sack people to trigger effects. And this is good, and this is really good for that. So I am a fan. I think very good. Hopefully out soon. I'm not sure if it's out, which pack it's in.
We should have a number there at the bottom, right?
There is. I can try and squint in it.
69. Hey.
So that is pack 3. No, pack 4.
Pack 4.
Pack 4. So yeah,
should be. Yeah.
So yeah, good card. I'm a fan. Any thoughts, guys? Other than that,
he looks good.
He looks good.
He's going to be a problem.
It's just the usual kind of negative design kind of stuff. I know how tired, how jaded it all sounds at this stage. I kind of wish, like, for a 2-cost character, 1/2, for an effect like this, I do kind of wish it had been limited to a single conflict and hadn't been phase long. Assassination, well, no, it won't, because you'll just, like, pre-conflict actions, I'll sack this guy, and blank that dude. Like, the card is super, super good, but it's a terrible, terrible feeling to have, to spend 4 or 5 plus additional fate on a character, and just to have it blanked for a couple of turns in a row.
Wasn't there some bollocks about blanking? If you could find a way to blank a guy, the Emperor, you could do something funky. Because most of the guys...
conflict? Would he use this guy with the tainted hero to...
It was that.
Yeah, the guy who can't attack unless you sacrifice someone. That was sorry. Obviously this guy solves that in a multitude of ways, but
It was
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
was that. Oh, was there some combo? Yeah, basically you can blank the no attachment characters. So normally you can't cloud them, but you can use this guy to blank them.
Yes.
So yeah, I think this is like he deals with the Emperor, basically switching off the Emperor, and then you can cloud the Emperor.
Yeah, blank the Emperor and then cloud him.
Yeah, double whammy. Woo.
Wait,
Absolutely.
what? That's a terrible idea.
Why?
Well, first he picks who you sacrifice, then he picks your target. So
Yeah.
don't mess with the Emperor. He might be dead, but he's still terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in that case, your 2-cost character is sitting there across from the Emperor, just going, "Go on, use your ability. I dare you. I double dog dare you to use that ability."
Well, he doesn't mind if you blank him after he uses his ability.
Yeah, you have to use his reaction.
Yeah.
No, there was
Then
some.
he can assign. No, he can't. He still has zip zip. Damn it.
There was some combo around blanking the Emperor. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll move on without dwelling. Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But yeah, super strong. I mean, but the thing is, like, this guy is so good that he will see play in decks that have no intention of sacrificing anybody. He's just that strong. So I'm a little less.
Yeah, he's like a me.
I'm a little less keen. I see way better than me at this stick. I'm a little less keen on characters that are that good, for kind of specific mechanical support. But like he's super amazing. He'll see play everywhere in lots of different decks. But yeah.
All right. Next up, we have a unicorn character, one featured in the clan novel, where apparently he's really lazy. Spoilers, Tyler. We just got the clan novel this week, or last week. 3-cost Ida Rojima. 0 military, 4 politics, courtier cavalry, 1 glory. Action: during a conflict in which this character is participating, choose a unicorn character and a non-unicorn character controlled by the same player. Bow one of these characters, then ready the other. So you can bow the Emperor, your own Emperor, to ready one of your guys. Or, and then find a way to straighten the Emperor because you don't want to bow the Emperor. So Gaijin Customs. Yeah. If you playing big on the line guys like Yoritomo, this guy has some value. He is he is 3-cost for a 4 politics character, and Unicorn have some decent politics buffs, so there's some value here. And he can ready guys, which is kind of cool. You have to bow one of them, so yeah, you can't just target 2 bad guys. But yeah,
But yeah, the idea is to get your small guy and bow your small guy to ready your big guy.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Or put Seal of the Unicorn on their best character and just keep on bowing him turn after turn.
Yeah, absolutely. That works.
Okay. Yeah.
That's actually not bad. If you could put Seal of the Unicorn on somebody and just be like, bow, 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 that could get very frustrating for people very quickly. Though they can avoid it by just going in first with their guy with Seal of the Unicorn. No, you just bow one of them. You still bow the guy. You have to bow the guy. Do you have to ready the other guy? Is this as long as one of them changes?
It says then ready the other.
So long as you can bow one of them, you can ready the other. You don't have to ready the other.
Huh?
So if they attack with their character with Seal of the Unicorn on it, and they've got another guy at home, you can go bow the guy with Seal of the Unicorn, ready the other guy. The guy you see the Unicorn ready, the other guy's ready. So long as one changes, yeah, it's shameful display. Okay. So that's actually decent. What trait does Seal of the Unicorn give you? Is it cavalry?
Cavalry.
That's not nothing.
That's what military and cavalry.
Not nothing. So yeah, I can see that maybe seeing play. Like that's not bad. Like as a bow action, that's an actually fairly easy bow action. He's only when he's blocking there, so
All right, we'll have to see. It certainly doesn't fit into the current deck. It's interesting. We've seen courtier unicorn decks before have some success, but that was before they got all the really good cards. So yeah, it looks like a fun card.
But that said, he's a 3-cost. Yeah, but he's a 3-cost guy with 4 skill. He's already really strong. So yeah, I think he's. I mean, obviously he's not at all in flavor for HMT out of Unicorn, but Shiro Shinjo might like this guy an awful lot because he's got that kind of game slowing control element to him that well, certainly if you're using the seal of the Unicorn, he does have that kind of game slowing element to him that Shiro Shinjo is going to thrive on. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, some value. All right, now there are 5 neutral provinces in this cycle: 2 Seeker, 2 Keeper, and the Void province lets you play guys in the discard. This is the Water province for Seeker only.
Say it again. Is that
There
one
are
Seeker?
there are
Keeper,
5
or 2
neutral
Seeker, 2 Keeper?
provinces. He said 2 Seeker, 2 Keeper. I don't know if that's
Oh,
true,
okay.
but he said 2 Seeker, 2 Keeper.
Cool.
And then the one is the void one that was in the first pack. And I assume then the last card then is the Dragon Stronghold. That's how it's going to roll out. So this is Smuggler's Cove, a 4 province strength water province. Seeker roll only. Action: during a conflict of this province, choose a character you control and select one. Either move that character to the conflict or move it home. My immediate thought was, wow, that's pretty good with Room of Signaler. But there are other uses for this. Any thoughts? I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's superb. It's just a brilliant province. You can defend with someone, force them to over. I mean, favorable ground is already one of the most unique and powerful effects in the game, and this is a province with favorable ground printed on it. So that automatically has to make it it's automatically a good province. It can, yeah, it's in an element that has a real dearth of playable provinces. But now Midnight Revels and Smuggler's Cove could easily make your row in a Seeker of Water deck. Yeah, so if someone attacks this, you commit a character and you force them to either burn a ton of resources to break, or you successfully defend it. And if they do burn those resources, you just move your guy home. Yeah, it's just. I mean, obviously, it's not on the level of something like a Shameful Display. But that said, in an element that suffers from really quite bad selection of provinces, there's a lot to be said for it. And I mean, there are other things you can do. Like, I mean, Crab could potentially fight on into a Smuggler's Cove with a giant bowed unit, and then send it home so it can attack again. So there are lots of little combos with this that could just be a real pain to deal with.
Who want to go Seeker of Water next? Now, most people are happy with Keeper of Air or Keeper of Earth, but there are some arguments for Seeker of Water, and that's another little fiddle. I'm not sure it's quite strong enough, but it's pretty good. It is pretty good in terms of provinces. I quite like that one. All right.
I'm less convinced. I think because you're only ever defending with it, you initially have the choice of how much you want to defend. If you're defending and then hoping your opponent's going to play a few cards to try break the province past that, you're hoping to get an extra card out and then pull your character out. Feels a little too situational and too specific. I think a lot of time your opponent is going to try win the conflict, and then you have to decide between letting them break the province in addition. And yeah, I'd rather have a card that was a little bit more proactive, defended itself, or kind of gave me an effect that was going to do more, or did something on the attack or something like that. But I'm less enthusiastic.
The thing is, you can pull in or pull out. You can be like, okay, I've defended my one big guy. You invest a bunch of resources to try and get in, and now, right, you're still winning. I don't want you to win. I'm going to pull in another guy. And your opponent's heart's broken. Or he pulls a bunch of cards, and you're like, cool, I'll go home. Have the province. You spend 3 cards. I'm grand with that. And it's just, it makes them have to make difficult choices all the way along. And it's a water province. There are not great water provinces. Revels is the first one that's very good. And for some decks, Revels isn't great. Like if you're a big guy deck, Revels is bleh. This is not for a big guy. This is for a big guy deck compared to Revels. So you can just be like, yeah, sure. I've got my tower. I've got Casado with a bunch of attachments. He's there. Are you taking it? No. Oh, you retreat.
I think
you retreat.
maybe.
Yeah.
maybe if you've got a few actions that you can use, like the classic one would be defend with Retsugu, duel a few people, and then leave. I guess I could see that, but yeah, I guess maybe I need to see them play and try it out a few times.
Or it's even like, okay, I defend enough to stop me. Okay, I'm going to fight on a big guy in. Now I'm going to send that big guy home. That's huge.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's huge. And this works perfectly well with Seeker Water. Then because you could be just like,
that's pretty cool actually. Okay, that's a really good play. Yeah.
Like for one cost and a province slot going, I ready my guy, I send my guy home, I got him to attack again. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest.
Yep, that's fair. All right. You've changed my mind.
Pack 6 preview. Real Petal Village Estate. This is a holding, Scorpion clan, +0 province strength, Imperial. Each Imperial character you control gets +1 military and +1 politics. Okay, I played Cooney Lab. Cooney Lab is a fixture in decks, even if it's only a one-of. It's an incredibly powerful effect, but it's got a stiff cost of losing 1 honor at the start of the conflict phase. This doesn't have that cost. It is a deck building requirement instead. You've got to play Imperial characters, which means either Imperial Scorpion, of which I believe there were at least some, and the unaligned Imperial characters. And some of the unaligned Imperial characters are really good. You can use the Maya Satoshi to mill this into play, and then Maya Satoshi's a 3/5. Like, that's strong. That's really strong.
Is a 5/5 when this is around.
Like, this is a beatdown deck. Like,
Kyuden 4/4. It's 4/4, sorry.
Kyuden Bayushi just going, yep, coming at you. Just going to keep conquesting you to death. I have 2 of these out. I've played with 2 Cooney Labs in play. You hemorrhage honor, but it's brutal. Like when you're bringing in your 1 cost Seppin Guardsmen and they're 3 or 4 military, that's pretty good. That's really good. So I mean, I'm very impressed with this card. I think it's an arc. It builds a deck, which is always nice to see. Like Kachiko's Imperial. We're probably going to see a couple more Imperial Scorpion if they're going to be all there doing their stuff. Like, yeah, I think 2/2 Maya Mystics. Yeah, absolutely. This is a lot of value. This is a lot of value in a small package. Any thoughts, Justin?
It's superb. It's genuinely terrible. Like, the implications for this are genuinely terrifying. If you can't get this off the board, just the value it represents is so huge that you could very easily find yourself losing to it in short order. And the fact that it's not unique and can stack, it's really, really strong. It's the kind of card that I don't know. Either we'll have a Scorpion deck very soon that will be playing almost nothing but Imperial characters, or we will just stop seeing Imperial Scorpion characters ever again because of this card. So yeah, I think it's superb. Whether or not the archetype, like, the question remains, like, does the archetype that it engenders, is that archetype top tier competitive? If it is, oh boy, I mean, the implications are pretty scary. Just in terms of value, blitz, all kinds of things. Like you're saying, like a 1 cost Seppin Guardsman, potentially a 1 cost 4- character. Turn 1 could turn 1 Seppin Ishikawa, 2 of these and a Seppin Guardsman is not something you want to be staring down, I think. No, obviously, but we're talking about edge cases a little, but just the sheer value this card represents is really, really jaw dropping. And yeah, I'm slightly awed, slightly scared.
Yeah, I think it's very good.
Yeah, I'm very, very jealous. I have to admit, this whole Imperial, like, the Imperial cards have always been kind of cool, and we've kind of seen them hovering on the fringes. And this card and maybe a few other cards could push the Scorpion Imperial deck into something that's real, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that deck is almost real. I mean, that deck is actually real already. Like, when you take a look at a lot of the top Scorpion decks right now, those decks are playing an awful lot of Imperial cards already, and now you have a card that completely breaks the costing for those guys. Yeah, this card has some serious implications. Some really serious implications.
I think it's got good value attached to it. Like Cooney Labs is a good card, but this is you can play Satoshi to tutor this out, which is pretty good. You can play you can play rebuild if you want to take your restricted slot into it, so you can get this back on demand. Like it's strong. Like that's some potent stuff, and yeah, I gotta say I'm a fan. Gotta say I'm a fan. I think it's good. It's got mileage. It's got mileage. All right, last preview from the stream. We have a Phoenix card, the Inferno Guard Evoker. 4 cost, 3 military, 2 politics, 4, I repeat, 4 glory. Shigenja Fire. During a military conflict, choose a participating character you control. Honor that character. If a province is broken during this conflict, sacrifice that character at the end of the conflict. I'm pretty impressed. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I am pretty impressed as well. This is an amazing charge target. Just charge a casual 7 force into a conflict effectively. This card is also super good on the defense, where it will be a 7 force defender. And unless your opponent manages to overcome a 7 force defender and break the province, it's not going to blow up. So yeah, it's a fire Shigenja, and those are usually crap, but this one's actually pretty good, I think. Yeah, I am very interested to see this in play. I'm very interested to try this out and see how it goes. It looks like it should be pretty good. And actually, when you take into consideration the Lion card as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
The one that we saw, the Forebearers Echoes. Actually, no, this card is ludicrous. This card is bananas.
So what?
Yeah,
you bring in Fashikcho, or I know you don't even just bring in someone big, smash face with super honored up, and then they're back in your discard, so you can do it again next turn.
Yeah. So next turn you can just bring them back in again. You can't. Like, it's a military conflict. I mean, you could bring them in on the defense potentially. I mean, there's a lot of interesting interactions there. I mean, yeah, like the thing is like, or if like horror of horrors, if you honor this guy on the defense and they don't break, and then you against the waves to stand them, and then you smash them in the face in a political conflict and clarity of purpose, and then he goes home, and then you smash them again with a military conflict.
Yeah, and one of the big things about the Infernal Guard Invoker is he doesn't need to use his ability. He doesn't need to be in the conflict. So the target does, but you can have the Infernal Guard Invoker bowed at home, under a stack of other characters, totally unforgotten, and all of a sudden, whatever character you have suddenly honors up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're looking at cards like, I mean, kind of Naive Student has fallen a bit out of favor recently, but you've got a Naive Student sitting at, you spend 1 Naive Student, go in political, honor the Naive Student, it's up to 4 political skill, break a province, but, the Naive Student gets sacrificed. Fantastic, I'll just draw a card straight away then. Yeah, this card makes other cards better, and that's definitely something to watch. I think this card is going to see some play.
And even in a narrow use case, you go in with him you buy him first turn, you go in with him, you go Inferno Guard Evoker honors himself, right? If your opponent's defended, you're like, okay, you're not breaking the province. And I'm like, I'm all right with just getting the ring and having him be 7/6 for next turn. So you could go, okay, I'll just, like, you block with a 4 cost guy, a 4 strength guy. I'm like, you're sure, I honor myself. Whatever. That's pretty cool. That it basically, you could just be like, honor him. Okay, don't break. That's fine. He goes home. Next turn, I can use him.
You just need to be very careful. Yeah, you just need to be very careful in those situations that your opponent doesn't put a fine katana on the Inferno Guard Invoker, and your entire kind of 6 fate turn 1 investment explodes in your face for the cost of a province. Which
any situation where your worst case scenario is your opponent helping you break their provinces.
Yeah, but at the cost of 6 fate, not sure that's worth it. But like as a charge target, incredible. Like the thing is, but like you said, I think the other big thing is that he doesn't have to do it to himself, and he doesn't have to be in the conflict. He's one of the few cards actually that makes Phoenix's high glory a genuine positive for once. And on that basis alone, he's 100% worth a look. And I think, again, given the Lion spell, the Forebearers Echoes. Yeah, I think this guy's for real.
Yeah. So a lot of good cards out of the cycle, a lot of exciting cards. I think Tyler has either designed an incredibly exciting cycle or has designed a couple of really good cards in cycle and picked them all out. You never know. But but it was good. It was a good stream. There was good exciting cards there. There was good exciting story stuff. It's great to have some communication. It's great to get some information. I'm pretty happy about that going into Gen Con. So yeah, that looks good. Looking forward to seeing some more of the other packs. I would like it if all the packs were out for Worlds. That's not going to happen, but it would be nice if nearly everything was out for the big European tournament at the end of August. No, nothing will be. Sorry. So we're really looking for the January is when we'll hopefully have everybody bar Dragon have their stuff. So yeah. Okay.
And we did see some of the guys on the stream in chat asking, what releases are and what it was like. And it was nice that the FFG guys were saying, look, this is the plan. We think it's going to, but these are all provisional. And, I know obviously it would be nice to know exactly what and where and so on, but actually having them being kind of straight up front and honest and say, look, we're just ballparking these figures. We think it's going to be this, I think that was good to see. I like seeing that.
Absolutely. So, hopefully more communication going forward. I'm hoping we're going to get another stream in 2 weeks' time, then another stream, and then we're basically at Gen Con. So, wow. Yeah, right. So yeah, so that will be. Yeah, we're coming up to we're into the closing run of the Kodai season. I think there are 5 to 6 Kodai left. I think is Nuremberg next? Yeah, Nuremberg's next. So we shall see what happens, what comes out. We have to start thinking about actually what content we're going to cover now in the run up to Gen Con. Do we want to talk about Favor and Glory Rush, the race? Are we going to talk about some card stuff, some tactic stuff? We didn't mention. They said that the restricted list or the new rules reference is out next week, and it will be active for July. So we shall see changes there. If I had to guess, I would guess the crab deck is probably going to get hit. If I had to guess.
Well, let's not speculate too much because there's plenty of rumors.
Oh, there is. There's tons.
They all sound super interesting, and yeah, I think that's going to be a big one. And Tyler did say he wanted to do them every 6 months. I think the reason he was emphasizing it will be legal for July. It'll probably be legal for one day of July, but he did say that he wanted to get it out for July last time around. So he has still managed to keep that promise, which is great. But I do think to a certain extent that. I think we've seen a bit of a shakeup with the previous one. I think we're going to have a big shakeup with this one because this will be the one that will be relevant for Worlds.
It's setting both the Gen Con and Worlds environments, and the Polish environment, right? So those are 3 really big tournaments. Unless they do another one at a Gen Con. So if they do the thing and then suddenly one clan is unicorn or 15 of the top 16 or something, they might have to do another one, but. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Alrighty. Anything else you want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen?
Nope, not for me.
All good.
Alrighty, good. Thank you for chat, for coming hanging out. Thank you for FFG for providing content for us we could talk about. Thanks, Tyler, for giving previews and putting up with our constant verbal abuse. We will see you all shortly. See you in 2 weeks. Yay. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.